apply a very thin layer, well, not too thin, of Vaseline. This creates sort of a greasy layer that the plaster won't stick to your face when you remove it. And be sure to get your eyebrows, any place where the plaster gauze is going to be applied needs to have a little layer of Vaseline. Cut small pieces of the plaster strips and dip them in the water, and then start to work up the plaster. It'll get creamy, and then lay it all the way around the outside edge, overlapping so that it stays together once it hardens. And you might want to wipe your hands a little bit before you put it over the subject's face, because you don't want to drip water in the eyes. If you should get plaster in your eyes, just go ahead and pull the plaster off and go flush it with water. It won't really hurt your eyes, but it won't feel very good. And continue doing that until it's all the way around the outside edge. Now I'm ready to do the crisscross over the nose. I believe it's step number 5 on the instructions. I've cut long strips, the width of the plaster gauze, and I'm going to lay them in a crisscross over the nose. This sort of gives the bridge of the nose some structure so that it won't collapse. And I'm just going to make sure that it follows the curve of the face real well. We don't want any gaps between the gauze and the skin. And do be careful that you don't drip any water around the eyes. And I'm just going to do 2 layers in there to get the nose, the bridge of the nose started. Just crisscross it over. When you overlap your pieces, that adds strength to the mask. Now I'm going to start filling in the facial area. And I'm going to go right over the nose. Now, as long as she doesn't open up her mouth, nothing will go in it. I'm just going to lay it over the top of the lips. Now, if you'd rather have an open mouth, you can just lay it right under the lips and on top of the lips. But I think that when you have the shape of the lips, it really makes it look like that person. Very unique, because everyone's face is shaped just a little different. And yeah, I'm going to go right up to the nose. You don't want to cover the nostrils because you need to breathe. And don't do too many layers right over the lip area. I've got 2 layers right now, and I'm going to try to avoid that because I want to really see the shape. 2 layers is sufficient. Now I've been filling in the areas around the X that I made. Right, I'm going to go right over the eyebrow because I've got that Vaseline on there so it won't stick. And once you get close to the eyes, you want to make a almond-shaped opening. And you'll need to cut strips that are in that shape. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Now you're going to take 2 strips, cut them in half, and then stack them up. And I'm just going to cut a half of sort of a football shape, and that's going to be the eye opening. What I'm going to do then is wet them and put one on the top and then one on the bottom. You okay? Did you get anything in your eye? No? Okay, good. I've wet that, and then I'm going to carefully lay it on the top of the eye. Get this wet here. And then underneath, so that I create a nice eye opening area. I'm just going to move your head just a little bit that way. There we go. And make sure that you rub each piece into the pieces that are already on the face so that you have a smoother surface area. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side of the eye. I cut a very narrow strip now, and then I'm going to cut that in thirds. And this is going to cover the bridge of the nose. You want to go in between the nostrils. Be sure not to cover the nostrils. And just make that go right down to the little space on top of the lips and under the nose. You rub it in. When you make the plaster nice and creamy and fill in all those little holes, that really will activate that plaster. And I'm going to put 3 layers. This is probably the weakest part of the mask, so you need to make sure that you've got those 3 layers on. And smooth them in. Then I'm just going to take small pieces and sort of fill right around the nose opening, the nostril right there. And continue to do that until everything but the nostrils are covered. The last thing I'm going to do once the whole mask is finished is I'm just going to go around the outside edge one more time, really activating that plaster by rubbing it. Warm water is probably better for it activates the plaster and it dries quicker if you use warm water, and it's not quite so shocking on the face too. Just go all the way around the whole outside edge, and when that's done, you're going to sit for about 10 minutes. You'll be able to tell by just feeling it if it's ready to take the mask off. To remove the mask, I'm going to have you just wiggle your face a little bit. Okay, try to crunch up your nose and break the bond. And I'm just going to run my finger along the edge and just lift it. Oops, here we go. Got it. There we go. The last thing you're going to do is take a pencil and write the name and your room number on the inside forehead, and then bring it into school. Put it in your bucket, bring it into school, and it's finished.